Chapter 21. With closed eyes, Elgon heard footsteps coming and thought people were going to tear him into pieces. They were like buffaloes. They lifted him up in the air and moved him around the grounds. He had given the people of Saga a spectacular performance that no one had ever done. The elders admitted that Elgon was paranormal. He was the happiest. When he scattered eyes to check on Arya, she instead bent down and broke into tears. No one could tell why she was crying. Elgon became a household name as if he had won the general title. He had made the West powerful again, having scooped 3 titles. His sister had 2, and she had won the archery competition on the side of the girls and became the queen dancer. She was an idol. Zab almost walked in the air. Her children had washed away all the darker days she had gone through. She promised to serve the people of Saga with one heart the way Elgon's father wished. The family no longer lived in hiding. They had signed full citizenship and walked with heads above shoulders. Elgon sat in the tree tower and saw no value in the titles without Arya by his side. He sneaked to the palace the following evening, hoping to see her. She was not there. He heard the cleaners saying that she had gone to Angel. The magician felt betrayed, lost the creeping skills, and fell off the fence. When guards heard, they moved out to find. He had vanished. Elgon passed in the trading center incognito from where he saw Arya with Sugar. They finally met Cardinal, who asked Sugar for a moment, leaving Arya walk ahead of them. He offered to escort them slowly to Angel's home. The moment Arya reached the corner, Elgon pulled her hand to the nearby tree, leaving Sugar and Cardinal overtake them. Elgon greeted her and asked how she was. Arya was not responding. She did not have words for him. Elgon felt like crying. He knelt down and apologized to her for whatever he did to her, both unintentionally and intentionally. He lamented, "I thought I was strong," and dug at the wells in different homesteads, hoping it would heal my heart. It did not. I got the trophies with pleasure, with expectation of getting a credit from the woman I love. I was wrong. She did not even know. She did not even want to know. There was nothing new I can do. There is nothing new that I can do now. Please let me love you, Arya. You are turning my world upside down. Let me be your man. Even if it means being your slave, I'll be, as long as I am your husband. You let me be." Arya simply walked away. She left him kneeling for love. Elgon, the magical monster, was craving for a woman. He fooled her with words that whatever she went. Elgon, the magical monster, was craving for a woman. He fooled her with words that wherever she went, it was he in love with her, no one else. Arya discovered that Elgon would not stop, yet she was going to discuss with the angel about the function. She turned to him. "I do not care about your achievements. I do not know you, and I do not know what you are talking. I am not the girl you met at the carnival. I am getting married on the day of the fox, and we shall go back to the city. Please do not ruin my future." When he brought the hand to touch her, she pushed him away and ran to meet Sugar and the Cardinal. Tears rolled Elgon's eyes. He had been chased in the middle of the road. He failed to stand up, so he sat there. He chose not to surrender. He continued watching her walk from a distance as he jumped over anthills, hit trees while he fought through the bush. She accelerated to them to meet the pair, who were happy discussing. As soon as they asked her where she had been, someone in the bush shouted, having been hit by a trap. All of them heard the cry and sloped downwards. Chapter 22. Arya tried to bar them from reaching the source of noise but failed. Cardinal wanted to prove to Sugar that he was a man enough. He pulled out his dagger, then told the woman to wait for him. He searched for the location of a couple of minutes. He searched for the location for a couple of minutes until he heard swashing grass. Then he dashed there. The trap was empty with a few blood stains. He picked a black ribbon as showed it to the women. Arya pulled and hid it. She knew Elgon had landed on it. She scattered her eyes around. He had tripped away. Cardinal and Sugar remained innocent. Good for them. They hastened since Angel did not have to wait. He was already upset, for they had delayed. Arya went thinking of what had happened to Elgon. She was proud of him. He almost killed her with passion during the archery match when he shot arrows on target. She felt him piercing her heart. She cried, for she knew there was no chance of getting such a talented dude. Formerly, Angel took them the Man of the Year award, thus deserved all the respect. He was the strongest man in Saga. Sugar and Cardinal requested to stay out when Arya entered. Angel was moving up and down. He kicked the car tire thrice, then he saw his sweetheart. She had finally come. He led her to the main house to meet his relatives. Greetings were exchanged, then dinner served. Angel started complaining that Arya never respected and treated him like a man. He walked in and out of the bedroom, then he dragged her out. He asked why she had delayed. He passed her hands hard with rage. He had changed. Arya complained that he had hurt her, although the man pretended not to have heard. They went back and confirmed the introduction and wedding dates, then requested Angel to drive his woman home. While in the car, Angel saw a black ribbon and asked where she had it from. Then turned to the overpriced bracelet that he forgot about the ribbon. While she stammered, Angel accused her of having an affair with the Cardinal, according to the way he looked at her in the arena. He quarreled and barked at her to move out of the car and go home. Arya walked out of the in-laws' dwelling and went to Cronies. They had heard him. Cardinal explained that looking at her was a diversion, which worked to his advantage, but blundered when he called Elgon. Sugar asked if he could defeat Elgon in a general fight. Cardinal affirmed that no man in Saga could beat him. He added that Elgon used magic while Angel beat him. He opened and showed them the teeth marks. It was true. They did not want to discuss about Angel, for they knew Arya was depressed. He simply had to deliver the letter to her family. Sugar praised the Cardinal for being charming and prudent. She added that he was better than Elgon and Angel combined. Arya stole an eye at Sugar. She wanted to smile. Anyway, the trek continued. When they arrived at the marketplace, Cardinal went to the south, letting Arya and Sugar continue. Sugar broke it that Cardinal had proposed to her, and she requested time to think. She was happy that someone had asked to be with her. Sugar never liked men and only enjoyed being with girls. Some students feared her, thinking she was a daughter of the king of some tribe in the north, preparing to get married to a prince. It was wrong to think about her in such a way. She preferred seeing fellow girls naked, touching and hugging them. They backbeat Maudi, who was then moving with the bishop, and laughed that she had lost Angel and Elgon in no time. The Jigos pushed forward as they called her unlucky. Into Eli's office they entered and handed over the letter. Eli called his daughter close and walked out. He had seen her unhappy. He spoke. Look, daughter, life does not give us what we deserve, but rather what we bargain for. Look at the stars. All wish to shine during the day, but were designed for the night. Whatever is bothering you will come to an end. Always remember that we can't be with those we truly love forever. She leaned her head on his shoulder, then asked him how he got her mother. Eli broke into silence. He never wanted to speak about it. He later took a deep breath and said, "Your mother was the most beautiful woman I have ever seen. She had a friend she liked from school, but chose to bed with the king dancer. She was very stubborn as well. She one day visited that friend and did not stop. You were young. She could leave you here and go until she learned that the man was no more. She cried every hour, but cried more when she got a miscarriage. I loved her so much and chose not to marry again. I married the bottle." Arya felt pity for her dad. He had been through a painful marriage. Arya then knew why Eli hated the Elgons. She asked him whether he killed the man from the hunting grounds. Elgon got scared and looked at her in fear. Chapter 23. He knew that she had met Zab, inquired whether she never hurt her. Eli denied the allegation and said he had heard people from the hills spreading such fabrications, but were all lies. He explained that Zab told mourners that story because Eli had previously threatened to harm her husband but never did it. He added that was the reason why she set the traps around the hills and captured Kana, his son, because she wanted to get back her husband's ancestral home. Arya got confused. She thought it was all Elgon's making, but what her father said was very different. She recalled Elgon at the stream, then Kana saying Marie delivered the letter. Her head boiled up. She could not believe Elgon was out of these things. She hated him for no reason. She left her father and went to bed. She did not sleep. Tears never ceased flowing. She felt betrayed. Arya walked to the window and pulled the black ribbon, then elevated eyes to the tree, which Elgon visited every night. She saw hundreds of ribbons hanging and waited to see him tie another one. He did not appear. She waited the whole night. Elgon never showed up. Nights passed. Arya was ever in her room, waiting to see him, but the man did not show up. She thought about telling Sugar, but never trusted her. Kana would joke with it. She moved out after a couple of days, dashed straight to Elgon's abode, where she found new developments. There was a nursery school with very many children from different regions. It had around 80 pupils. Zabu was teaching ABC, and Marie concentrated on numbers in the other stream. She knocked at her door, who seemed busy. She had to wait until break time. Marie directed Arya where Elgon was, but she failed to understand. She advised her to inquire for the place where the secondary school was being constructed. She feared to ask people. Marie gave her a pupil to lead her. Her heart had hardened. She cared less about those who saw her. To the site she reached and found a few familiar faces. She did not know that Elgon had attracted an educated team to the west. Maud and Bishop were already there, putting the construction materials to the builders. Many had volunteered to work here. Maud was so surprised to see the bride-to-be in the west. However, she was happy to see her friend. When they hugged, Arya broke down into tears. She cried heavily, and Maud encouraged her to continue. She requested Arya not to explain, for she knew why Arya had come. She explained that Elgon lost his mind days back. He abandoned the site and left his home. No one knew where he was. He never talked to anyone at the time he left. Arya looked at Maudi and cried further. She spoke. I love him. I love him so much. Maud nodded in acceptance. She realized, I knew, and I always know. I know, and I always knew. Everyone knows. Ari, you had never visited any man's home in your life until you went at his. You have never hated anyone so much the way you did it to Elgon. He is the only person who made you lie to everyone, including your dad. Couldn't you realize that? She could not stand straight until Maudi gave her a shoulder. Arya, I do not want to lose him. Maudi, not everyone does. Arya, what do you mean? I love him. Maudi, everyone loves him, but he loves you. Arya got confused. Maud told her how Sugar spent the whole night with him on one bed without touching her. She said that Sugar seduced him numerous times, but he instead called Arya's name in the dream. Eli's girl was listening to news. Sugar had told her that Elgon tried to force himself on her when he lodged her for a night, but kicked his balls hard to paralysis. The two's talk could not end. Arya greeted the workers as Maud escorted her to see Marie, whose eyes looked guilty of his whereabouts. Arya mentioned the ribbon house, a thing that made Marie confirm that Elgon loved Arya. She left Maud lost and ran to the hills. She was not sure whether he was there, but had to see. She forgot that Angel was bringing the wedding dress that evening. Arya beat the maze very fast, then reached the house. It was open with no one around. Everything was so dirty, and the place seemed to have been left there for days. She called her monster while moving around the house. There was no sign of his. She felt broken-hearted and entered the house again. She tied the ribbon Elgon had left on the trap on the spectacles, and went to the main house up the hill. Elgon was in the kitchen cooking, expecting no visitors. He recalled the new knife he had left in the private ribbon house and rushed to pick it. He used the shortcut behind the kitchen. When Arya came, the house was empty. She sat down and rained tears. She felt devastated and exhausted. She shouted his name, hoping he would hear. No way. Her feet were already aching. She sloped slowly in grief while looking behind, thinking he would appear the way he used to do it. When Elgon entered, he saw the ribbon and ran crazy. He knew it was Arya around. He tripped around the house while calling her name. He ran to the main house and saw traces of her feet, which he followed. He skipped tree trunks and used one of his shortcuts to the valley as he shouted her name. Arya finally heard the voice and stopped. Chapter 24. The clouds cleared promptly. Chattering birds halted. A cool breeze blew towards her. Everything turned spectacular. Her heart raced with smiling eyes as she turned with a $1 billion imagination. Arya knew one forest man. Arya knew one forest and expected no surprises. She could not wait for the man to slope to the valley. She used all the energy in her to climb the hill in pursuit of seeking the man of her life. Hand claps from behind, then a loud voice emanated from the valley. The hero of the hills had come. It had taken ages without taking this direction since the death of his rival. Chief Eli had come with escorts, having failed to trace for his daughter from the west. Rumor had already circulated that Arya had eloped with Elgon to the city. When Eli found out, the heart relaxed as he called her closer. He did not know what to say to her in the middle of the palace. In the middle of the palace brigade. She threw her eyes to the north, then to the east, planning what to do with great expectations from the trees. She believed in the miracles of Elgon and prayed hard such that he could emerge and take her away. As the head crossed to the west, Chief Eli rested a heavy slap on her right cheek without consultation from anyone. It was as fast as lightning flash in the middle of the dark night. It was such thunderous that Elgon heard and shouted Arya's name. Poor queen could not reply, for she was already down. The old man had wood The old man had wood as if fingers that he rarely used, having realized how fatal they were to humans. The old man had wood-like fingers that he rarely used, having realized how fatal they were to humans. Eli had last used his fingers on his wife 25 years back before her death. On the fateful day, the beautiful woman prepared a heavy feast for the in-laws, who had gathered at Eli's home to celebrate the day of good harvest. Little did the poor Wilder know that her father-in-law never ate peeled yam. She served him last on top of forgetting to deliver water for washing hands. Eli could withstand the first two mistakes, but the last one filled his brain with ultimate rage, and when he raised his hand before his dear wife, a couple of molar teeth spread on the floor. It was terrible in the dining room as the wife ran to the bedroom crying, asking herself why the husband had hit her with such rage. The retired blacksmith took the meal uneasily, thinking of what he had done to his sweetheart. He picked up the teeth and went to meet his dear Parama, who was sobbing inside the coffee brown blanket. He apologized 1,000 times with lame explanation that he wanted to prove to the rest he was a tough man without consideration of the impacts. Having failed to fix the lost teeth, the iron fist man swore never to slap anyone until the end of time. Look at what sat in front of him. His lovely daughter shook like an epilepsy patient. Foam filled her mouth, then poured out to the chin. She could not feel her teeth and tongue anymore. Neither could she speak. Arya lost consciousness and fell on the old brownish rock. By the time Elgon arrived, flowing tears from her eyes welcomed him. Silence surrounded the valley at the juncture when furious Eli stared at Elgon, who concentrated on the health of Arya. He pushed the guards away, and when Cardinal tried to stop him, he strained the monkey's thumb in 2 seconds, leaving him screaming like a kicked puppy. The rest pushed away by mere pointing at them. He knelt where Arya was, then he turned her to rest at the back. He untied the black robe from her waist, then removed his shirt, which he spread in the middle of her legs. The rest were simply watching a movie. He elevated Arya's left leg 30 centimeters towards her chest, while counting in low tones. He put it down and spread the arms the way the Son of Man was done, then removed the blue scarf from her neck. He lifted the right leg slowly 12 inches up for around 9 minutes, then her lips shook. The last 2 fingers played on the rock twice and stopped. She was taking longer than expected. Elgon unbuttoned her dress from the neck slowly to the chest, then ordered one of the guards to blow the wind towards her right, and the monster had turned into a physician. This time it worked when Arya kicked thrice. Elgon knew that the elder had unfinished business with him. He requested the guards to carry Arya to the palace and let her rest. He sloped further in the forest without talking to Eli. However much Elgon had misunderstandings with the elder, he respected him so much and avoided any direct confrontation with him. In a few minutes, Arya woke up crying while calling Elgon's name. She never got a chance of seeing him that dusk. Her jaw ached seriously. As the guards followed Elgon's instructions, the chief never said a word that evening. No one knew what lingered into his round head. Initially, he thought that the rumor amongst the palace servants that Arya dreamt of Elgon in the middle of the night and wake up calling his name was false, but what he heard himself proved something. He still wondered why, how, and when the two connected so fast without warning. This beat his understanding completely. He was extremely puzzled as he walked to the palace with the help of his stick. Outside the palace, a tall young man stood anxiously, having awaited the man-hunters for hours inside without returning. Angel could not wait for Arya to land down when the guards back. From the guards back, when he slapped the innocent carrier, accusing him of touching his fiancée without permission. The rest of the guards attacked Angel immediately as his escorts intervened. The combat ran battle.